right, what's going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE, joined in order by the Smoke Show Drazcor. What's up, Drazcor?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We got Ewok to the J to the R.
Hello, Keyforge community. Glad to celebrate this 57th episode with you, Drazcor.
You've been keeping track?
Well, I feel like I should explain that for a second. I did mention, because I've not been on 57 episodes of...
I didn't think so. I was like, that seems like a not real number.
No. I was commenting that I have a little running list of like the podcast episodes I've done, and starting with the amazingly named KFPL Weekly podcast. And so if you combine those two podcasts together, I've been on 57 episodes, which of podcasting land.
In your podcast career.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And many more.
Yep. Yeah. So I got to go back and update my resume.
Yeah, I would.
Did it to 57.
I would ask for a raise if I were you.
Yeah, like 1,000,000%.
That might be a bit much, but inflation is up this year.
I mean, times zero. It's not really that hard. I mean,
well,
you could just make me feel good.
I could. And then there's Sheep. What's up, Sheep?
I'm losing at Keyforge.
He's often losing at Keyforge. How's that double chronophage deck going, treating you?
It is chronophaging me.
It is chronophaging. Perfect.
It is certainly chronophaging.
It's doing what chronophage was designed to do.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm just glad
frankly,
somebody else has the sickness.
I killed him before he landed all his taunties, because he's got a bunch of dirty taunties.
Yep. Like I said, I'm just glad somebody else has the sickness like I do. So, I mean, yeah.
Oh, crap. I got a chronophage, too.
Oh, nice. But we got ABR going on this week. Drazcor, what's the big ABR announcements?
Well, going into this week, we're coming in on the high horse. The Horseman's the hiatus in first place. And then somebody, Flaming Hobo was like, hey, it's all so close for first place. What's going to happen? And I was, I went in and I was just like, yeah, Horsemen are going to take that at all, smiley face. And then we proceeded to lose 4 games in a row. And then he started giving me a hard time on the captain's channel because I got it and been like, it's going to be us. And then
I believe the old phrase that I remember growing up was talk shit, get hit.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. And there were GIFs flying at me and all sorts of things, yes.
Oh boy, I don't even want to get into that. Is it GIF or GIF?
Oh, definitely GIF.
It's definitely GIF. Anyways, Vault Keeper. By the time you get to this, Vault Keeper will have come and gone, but it is this weekend coming up. You guys are all participating in Vault Keeper, are you not?
We are.
I am not. I am not, and I'm going to tell you why. Is everybody ready for this?
Because you got to work?
No. I have a much better reason. This is the second time now. I don't remember what the first time was, but there was actually a good reason, and I had to do something with my wife. Wife and kids.
It was your anniversary.
No, it wasn't my anniversary. My anniversary is this weekend.
You have multiple anniversaries, man.
No, my anniversary is this weekend.
All right. Anyway.
What was the first one?
It was a birthday last time.
When was the first one?
Birthday? Something?
It might have been a birthday.
Oh.
I don't remember when he ran the first one. I know this one, it came up quick. Was it back in February?
Something like that.
Yeah, it might have been my birthday. And I was being dragged to something because people think I like that type of thing. But it was what it was. I don't remember what it was. I know there was something going on. It wasn't an anniversary. It was, but because my wedding anniversary is legitimately this weekend. It will be 15 years this week.
Oh, you're so old.
I know. Jeez. Nice. I think I just slipped a hip. I'm not sure. Oh man, craziness. But lots to talk about this week. It's been a while since we've had a good chunk of like Keyforge stuff and things.
It was in February, just so you're aware. February 19th, 20th, and 26th.
That would have been my birthday. And it was my birthday, and my sister was in town. That's what it would have been. So I had to go to do stuff and things with my sister because she lives in Iowa, so I only get to see her every so often. So,
but we have news. That's
Yes.
right, news from Dr. Garfield himself.
So not FFG.
No.
Settle down, everyone.
We'll take it.
But there's also some Winds of Exchange pictures that have also some artwork that has been identified and connected. So that's super exciting as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to do artwork on a podcast, but we're going to try.
It's going to be great, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're experts.
Yeah. Well,
57 episodes of experience about to come at you.
Oh, don't worry. We're giving you all 3 of them. But yeah, we did get a little information from Richard Garfield this week. Now, this was on an old post. It's Board Game Geek, right? Was the website?
Yeah. So Board Game Geek is a huge player for tracking essentially board games, being able to see what new hotness is, board games. I mean, that's been around for quite a while. The guys actually who run it know quite a few of them, and they're really, really nice. Having attended Board Game Geek Con many, many years ago, the website has grown much larger. But the original post that we see here that we're kind of relating to is Keyforge Call of the Archons. It's in the forums reviews. And it basically is a thread of why is Keyforge struggling or why I don't like Keyforge.
Well, why this person doesn't like Keyforge.
Correct.
And to a degree, I think he brings up some good points.
Well, but I mean, the original post was a couple years ago. I mean, Draz, you're actually on here from October 14, 2021. And then we get a little bit of hits in January of this year. And all of a sudden, May 9th, someone just again posted. And is a little bit odd, but they're talking about some other games. And like 4 or 5 posts down, you can all of a sudden see Richard Garfield, designer, and his very, very simple, we'll call it a sentence, 2-sentence.
I believe it's a run-on sentence.
It is. But that's why I'm putting it as 1. But
yeah, what grade would you give this sentence? Like, is this a B-?
I'm giving this a much higher grade because it gives us hope as to existence. See, that is where you're going to
A++++.
I think you're showing favoritism here. I think he needs to better sentence structures, but
oh, hands down. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Basically, the comment right above was, I personally hope they bring Keyforge back, but even if they don't, I doubt the game would do much from there. And you can see someone was kind of responding, but Dr. Garfield comes in. I can't promise or disclose anything, but I can say that work is being done, and there are a number of people very serious about getting it back. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I like it.
But
that makes me smile.
This gives me so many questions.
I mean, that too. But for whatever, it's this random post buried in this random thread. And it's a little bit of like, hey, you know what? There's some guy saying, hey, it's a great game. Don't regret any of the countless hours I've spent playing it. And he's just like, hey, I'm seeing people really working hard to try to get this back. So it could happen. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting.
Can I ask my questions?
Yeah.
I'm a cynical person.
We know.
I am sure by now. I don't even know how many.
I'm aghast at your comments here. I am just holding my breath. This is brand news to me. Breaking.
WOOKIE. Okay. So, I'm going to break this down the best I can. I know good with words. Don't know why I run a podcast. But so many questions. So question number one. When was the last time? Because Richard Garfield is, I don't want to say notorious, but his business is presenting a game, selling a game, and then moving on, right? Mm-hmm. To next game that he is either designing, selling, pitching, whatever. I want to know, number one, how long he stays on a game. How long does he stay on as a consultant? I mean, the last time we heard from him was it during, that was Vault Warrior, correct? I want to say it was Vault Warrior. It was the last time we heard from Richard Garfield.
I really don't remember specifically, but I do remember hearing. I don't remember where and how correct this is, but I do remember hearing that he was very involved in the first 3 sets.
Right. I remember hearing that too. That does ring a bell for me.
Yeah.
But now we're on set. Well, we're on set. What, 6?
Yep.
Worlds Collide, and then we have MM.
Now I also remember hearing at some point that he's creator of Magic, right? Magic the Gathering, obviously.
Sure.
And he is, for the most part, not involved.
Not at
Magic.
all. He hasn't been involved in Magic in many years.
Royalties. But I have heard that periodically, I don't know how often that is, but periodically they'll bring him back to consult on certain things and ask him certain questions and get his opinion on certain things. So if he's saying these things, to me, that makes you wonder, was there a recent consulting engagement they had with him where they were asking his opinion on a bunch of stuff? And if they were, it's possible. Complete speculation. So if they were, and we also have been told, so let's believe it for a second, that set 6 is 100% designed. That means it's probably not on set 6. So what's he consulting on?
Well, here's what we know. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not.
But here's what we're gonna guess.
But I'm gonna. No, this isn't a guess. This is we know.
Okay.
Z was with me way back when.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we had a guest on the show and he divulged some information to us about how far they were already in designing sets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure as meta changes and forms, there's some little tweaks here or there that go into oh no, now we got to tweak this, tweak that, whatever.
Sure.
At that point in time, they were already through set 6, moving into set 7.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. So my question is, number one, how does he know? I don't know if his Garfield sense was tingling, and he just knew. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying he's not privy to the information. I just want to know more.
Sure.
Again, non-disclosures, yada yada.
Yeah.
My next biggest thing is why. Okay, I want to scream this so badly, and I'm not going to. I'm going to say it very calmly. Why is this coming from Richard Garfield as opposed to somebody from FFG? I tweeted this because I was so incensed. I'm very happy to see somebody saying something, but why is it coming from Richard Garfield and not an FFG employee? Why am I getting reassured by the game's original designer that, to my knowledge, besides for his name being stamped on the box, and I don't even know if that continued after Coda, to my knowledge, has nothing to do with the game.
Let's see, I have a DT display box here. No decks in it.
We just need the box.
Yeah.
Does it say a Richard Garfield game?
No, I'm looking.
I'm gonna Google AOA.
The made in Germany. That's interesting, actually. Germany. Wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, we knew there were some decks made in Germany, some decks made in China.
Yeah, those sound familiar.
It was huge on it.
Yeah, I do not see.
Because I'm looking at
Richard
some
Garfield
pictures of AOA had it. But just how does he know? How do you know, and why is it coming from you?
Oh, wait, I found it.
Oh, is it on there?
Yeah, unique deck game by Richard Garfield. I had to rotate the box. It's on the front.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah.
All right, so it's still in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're still stringing that cat along for all it's worth, I guess.
Oh, yeah, you got it, right? People will see that and be like, I know that name, right? You'll sell a few decks that way.
maybe. I'm a little disappointed that it's coming from him as opposed to.
I guess the question for me, Wookie, is why? Why be disappointed? I think that it is a great sign for us that Richard Garfield still cares enough to be able to take care of his baby. And that's it. It's his game.
Sure.
So he still has skin in the game to be able to say, hey, this has so much potential. We really enjoyed it. And why not? If he can be that spokesperson that can say things that, frankly, FFG may not be able to, take it as
what do you
positive.
mean FFG is unable? Why are they unable to?
Because as soon as FFG goes ahead and steps in and says that it's by, we're working, this is where the date is, you want to have specific information. I mean, that's what all of us as Keyforgers are looking for. Can you please give us a date versus an open-ended, hey, it's another year? Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people, even I'm trying to think of...
Like, to be honest with you, if FFG came in here, right, if somebody from FFG says, hey, I can't make any promises, but people are working hard behind the scenes to get this back on track, so fingers crossed we'll be able to get it back to you. I would have been pleased as punch.
But they don't have the workforce to do it, and they clearly haven't invested in the game in that manner. I'm not going ahead and jumping around, but that's the reality of what we're dealing with.
I didn't know you could tip on Board Game Geek either.
Yes.
Yeah.
This post has $1.12 on it.
Yeah. Go get. Geek points.
It's geek points.
Geek points.
You've been able to use it for a while.
I have a lot of geek points. I haven't used them in a while. But
I saw your name
for whatever
pop up
reason.
on here.
This is their strategy, right? This is FFG's strategy. Just basically say nothing. Now, obviously we don't think that's a good strategy, but I have 6,600 geek gold sitting around, by the way. So just to give you a sense of, it's I don't know. Would I have been happier if it was FFG? Yes. Do I super care because I'm hearing something from Richard Garfield? Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at.
And I follow suit. I think that it's some information. He is more in the know, or potential more in the know, than I myself am. And so we'll take any glimmer of hope at this point in time. I mean, even the recent post that came out from Marco Proati, who does the Italian Keyforge, and it's like the truth. And you're talking about the algorithm being broken and information of just sales coming down. That was posted earlier today that you're looking at. Mm-hmm. People are gluing and holding on to information. I still think that Keyforge offers, with no decks that are brand new being produced, what we've been able to do in the year with the community that's here, they look at deck sales as decreasing, as Marco points out. I completely disagree with that. I think that the idea that you're still selling decks when there's no promotion or no in-person or live events happening is incredible. I think that the community is holding events like ABR, like Swindle, like Vault Keeper, that Joker has coming up for this weekend. That shows how much potential is here. And I think Dr. Garfield sees that. If he gives us a glimmer of hope, I'm very excited to be able to see what's happening and what the future will bring.
Where do the deck sales come?
I'm more on the Wookiee side here, because there's a core group of us. We play a lot of Keyforge, and it's a great game. And we keep getting a couple tricklers in here and there. So the community kind of grows, but it seems like it's shrinking faster than it's growing. Hopefully Vaultkeeper gets signups here in the last day, or that's done now, right? Or signups in today, because his numbers are not very good yet.
I thought you could sign up until Saturday.
No, it's the day before.
Is it the day
Friday? Through Friday.
Right. I'm sorry, not Saturday. I meant Friday. Tomorrow.
You're always going to get last minute signups, but yeah, it's going to be down.
But it was 22 people as of yesterday or today. So
that's for an event with live cash prizes, right?
It is.
You know what? That cash prizing is not what the people are still playing Keyforge now aren't in this game because it has cash prizes anymore, right? Like, that ended a real long time ago. People playing this because there's cash prizes, right? There hasn't been enough of them that the cash prize players are around. People who play this are more in the line now of the ABR League, where they want fun, interesting games, and they're looking for super high-end competitive play. The people who are playing regularly. So I mean, like, I love what Vault Keeper is. I totally support it, but it isn't. It's I don't say, except it's hard to build a community now because our advertising is
Please
too
play
inclusive.
with me.
It
right?
is.
Well,
You're
no, we
100%
only advertise to
Keyforge
ourselves
players
in our own Discords, right?
So if we want to be able to grow the community, one, we need the support from FFG to get into the larger gaming spaces. That's our game halls. That's the game stores. You need to be able to go in and basically show it to other CCGs, TCG players, board game players.
You need money and people with time, which is what big
Correct.
companies are supposed to provide. Right now, all we do is a bunch of people who have day jobs and a small amount of money to waste on a game that doesn't make them money for sport. So, like, if you really want this to grow, it's not us that can do it.
Yeah, I don't think that this is a matter of us being able to produce and grow the game.
People find the game, like, without podcasts like us and without events like we're running happening, then people who do find the game don't stay interested because there's nothing going on with the game, right? But we don't have, well, nobody here has really tried too hard that I'm aware of to really try to reach new people. Plus, like I said, it's not our job, it's not our thing. We're not trying to get on other gaming related podcasts and advertise and get it out to a big world.
No, our goal is to be able to support people who have found the game and to be able to enjoy it, that community, to make it as enjoyable as possible for those who are still here who are enjoying it. But no, we're not growing at an exponential rate because we just don't have the reach.
No, we're shrinking.
Correct. We're hands down shrinking. Numbers. Yes, we know that, but still to see that the decks are being bought and you have decks that are there. I think what was missed from Marco...
In my very pessimistic thing there is go and look at the fact that Decipher Star Trek still sells decks. There's a lot of games that aren't actively produced that still have a plain selling crowd. There's a big secondary market on Netrunner too, like good games, which these are good games.
Yep.
Like, we'll always continue to have somewhat of a player base. Like, you used to be a big minis player, Star Wars Mini, and there's people who are like making their own sets to keep playing that game. Like, good games will have players that stay around, but it just keeps shrinking because there's no way to really build anymore.
I mean, I still kind of follow like Raw Deal. They just had like a 500 person tournament. I mean, it was their big thing, but they had a huge tournament. So
Deal? I don't even know.
But like online, or how did they do it?
No, they did it in person. It was on one of their Facebook posts. They did it in person.
Raw Deal.
Yeah, that was a
customizable card game.
It came out. I don't know when it came out.
Oh man,
probably early 2000s.
2000.
Up 2000. There you go.
Like, so if you go to Board Game Geek, it's just like a torso shot of a dude in underwear.
That sounds right. That's wrestling in a that's wrestling in a nutshell. Like, what do you want? But like, the fact is that like they just had a 500 person tournament. It's like their big year end deal, right? Like, I forget what it's called, but it has a name and it's wrestling related. But they just had their big year end deal
500
and
players, but
500 player. I mean, I don't know. They said it was like 511 people or 500 something like that. But like, they showed shots and it was quite
was this 500 people at a wrestling event that also had a Raw Deal tournament?
No. No, they booked out a hall. They showed shots. If I can find them, I'll post them up. But yeah, no, they had a legit thing, and I know Star Wars still has a huge following as well. So again, you named Star Trek again, still a huge following, and they're still making cards. Like, believe it or not, some of these Star Wars cards are still going for $50 to $100, which is crazy to think, because I mean the game hasn't been produced since
this is
like 05.
Yeah, like it's the right age period. It's coming around where the early 2000 stuff that's now 15 or 20 years ago.
Is it
so
like
people
cool again?
Well, people who were in their teens are now in their 30s making a bunch of money and want to relive their childhood. And just like everything becomes hot, like crappy old card games are becoming hot now. Like my Babylon 5 cards are now worth money, even though they're still the same trash they were when I got them.
Best TV show.
It's just, awful TV show.
What? Best TV show. Why'd you get the
God.
cards if you didn't like the TV show?
Because I worked for the company.
Oh, did you? That's interesting.
Yeah, I was on their demo team.
Interesting.
Either way, I would have liked it to come from. I would like something to come from FFG again, like just anything, just a glimmer of hope, just an article saying, like, again, like I posted on Twitter, something, and literally anything. That's mine. If you're happy with what you got, cool beans. I do find it funny. I watch a lot of the Arcana, and when they post like the statistics, they do it like once a week. They post like the statistics of like how many decks are being listed to the Master Vault. Weirdly enough, I mean it's between like 5,000 and 7,000 decks a week are getting posted to the Master Vault.
That's a real number.
But that was the piece that I was going ahead and looking at is, okay, you look at a decrease in deck sales, and they're looking at sets. But the idea is that you have multiple sets that are out now. And so you actually have to have a combined amount. And yes, some of those are discounted, but I don't think that was looked at from Marco. I think that it was a missed overall understanding. Some people are looking at those deals and pulling AOA. Some people are still playing Coda, and we have others that are really enjoying DT. You also don't have in real life play. And so Sealed, which used to go ahead and push and pull quite a few other decks just for playing Sealed, which is a great aspect of Keyforge, isn't happening for many, many, many game stars.
Yeah. All right.
What package were you looking at, Drascore, for dear Richard Garfield?
What was that?
What package were you looking at for the Richard Garfield?
Oh! I was looking at the display box of the Dark Tidings.
I just wanted to know if it still said, like, if they're still trying to string that pony along. Like, it's a Richard Garfield game.
It is no longer on the single pack for Dark Tidings.
Okay.
But it's on the display box.
It is.
It is. Well, I looked at while you guys were talking, I Googled them all. And yeah, every display box has, like, bottom left corner, a Richard Garfield game.
Mass Mutation still had it on the single deck.
Oh, did they?
But it is now missing from Dark Tidings.
I mean, either way, you know, that was kind of their claim to fame in the very beginning, was the fact that, you know, it was a Richard Garfield game, right? Like that was their claim to fame, and for a while there, you couldn't buy the stuff. I remember when it was sold out everywhere. I traveled to the Dells to get Keyforge decks, which is about 2 hours away from me.
Is that like Delaware?
Wisconsin Dells. It's kind of where all the Dells is, like your staycation.
The water park capital of the world.
Yeah, whatever.
Really?
Yeah, it's got the most water parks. Noah's Ark's there. Every hotel there has like an indoor water park of some sort. It's pretty cool. It's like when you're like, hey, I want to take a vacation, but I don't want to spend a bucket of money. Mm-hmm. You go to the Dells.
Gotcha.
That's the Wisconsin thing.
That's a fun tidbit I did not know about Wisconsin.
We'll have to take you next time you're here.
Sweet. Just give me some margaritas before we go down the.
There is definitely plenty of places to find margaritas down there.
Nice. Nice.
Wookie can finally make us wear the AC Speedos he bought us.
That's right. That's right. I didn't tell you guys. How did you know? Who told you?
Well, they're modeled after the WWE Raw.
I told JR not to tell. I told JR not to tell anybody. Clearly, he told Dan.
Is that what we're going to go ahead and have as our new icon for the new image for our podcast?
It's just going to be our 4 butts. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be our 4 butts with the AC logo on them.
It's going to sell so many copies.
All right. Well, moving forward, we did get some new art. Do we get names of these cards? I guess they're kind of on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you guys want to start with? Yeah, they all have names on them.
How about the first one?
Well, take it away then.
All right. So the first one. All right. So what is this? So on ArtStation, that's a place, a website where artists will upload their artwork, and in general, they're supposed to only upload their artwork when whatever NDAs is lifted, whatever embargoes have lifted and whatnot. And then, there's different agreements with, depending on the company you're working for is what you can do with that. Right. And, so there's one artist whose name I put back over here is Colin Cyril, maybe. And he, not too long ago, uploaded 3 different pieces of artwork to ArtStation. So the first one is, and all 3 are definitely Keyforge. So the first one is Yixi, the Iron Captain. And so you can see here, there's a Mars, 3 Mars creatures, but the captain is in the front here, and he's got that big tank on his back, the big tank of green, whatever the heck that is, that the the capture guy had in Coda. What was that?
Amber conduction unit.
That's not the one I'm thinking of, but maybe it's there too. I was thinking of the 2-power.
I think you're thinking of I'm gonna butcher this. Ulixi's Marauder.
There you go, the Marauder. Terrible card, but this guy looks way cooler because he's got the pack and it's glowing, and there's laser beams flying all around him, and he's got this symbol on. I don't. Is that on his head, or is he wearing like a beret? It's a little hard to tell. But then he's got.
I think it's on his head.
Maybe.
I don't really see a beret.
It could be tilted. I don't know. It probably is. Just
no, it's on his head.
On his head. And then he's got it on his shoulder and his knee pad, and he's got this.
It's Mars. It's green. Next.
And it's red. It's red.
There's red, right? So you remember the only official spoiler we got was for this rebel leader, this Martian rebel leader, and this guy's definitely wearing some of that red. So I think this guy, the Iron Captain, is definitely part of this.
Because every Mars person we've seen, not every Mars person, but a majority of the Mars creatures we've seen before are all wearing purple.
It's a new enclave.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, there's only one that I think we've ever seen wear red, and that's Mind Warper. I could be wrong. Now everybody's going to be like, no, this guy's wearing red too. But
yeah, well, it's fun to tell Wookiees wrong. So
that's right.
Please go ahead, double check everyone.
Yes, please go ahead, double check me. But that's fine. But every card, I'm kind of scrolling through all the Mars cards, all the ones where you actually see a Martian, not like the Dominator or the Jammer, like Zixie's the Many, Yixel Bolter, all wearing purple. This guy, red.
Yeah.
Well, but we know from
through a wall and they're charging forward. It's cool.
Am I the only one who's read Tales from the Crucible?
Probably.
I read it.
Okay, so obviously they go into the different enclaves that are there, and Mars will have different groups that will kind of be combative against each other. And so that has already been exposed, and I think that's a storyline that's Keyforge as a whole could definitely go further down. So I'm excited to see what they can do. I do hope that they bring in the books and some of the information that we learned from it.
Yep. I think I'm excited to see this. And yes, there is a lot of green. Sheep is right, but I don't know. This is way cool than the Marauder artwork with the cityscape and the whole blasted on the wall behind him. I think it's cool. It's cool looking.
Well, you have the contrast between the red and green being on opposite ends of the spectrum for
Purpley
the color wheel.
behind.
Yep. And so that really helps it to be able to pop. I think with the multiple Mars creatures that are here, I think it's very well done. So I like it.
Same here.
All right, should we go into the next one?
I was gonna say, do you wanna? Should we go into Dark Lamp?
Let's go into Dark Lamp.
Because this one's a little more inconspicuous. We got a cyborg. I'm gonna say cyborg, right? It's definitely maybe not a cyborg, maybe a robot. I guess it could be a robot. Definitely, probably a robot.
What house are you going with?
What's that?
What house would?
Man, I want to say shadows.
Shadows.
I want to say shadows because it's the purple. There's no face, right? So very hooded. The fingers look very shadowsy.
I
almost
agree.
elfy.
I see. I initially saw this as shadows as well. So you see a purple cloak kind of over the head. You see almost like the Jawa eyes that are there, but the feet, kind of more hoof and more mechanical. I think that I could see potentially a little bit of logos with some of the robot parts that are visible, but I personally would guesstimate that this would be shadows.
Remember, no logos in this set.
I know.
And no shadows.
Logos is gone.
No logos, no shadows.
So no logos, no efficiency. I mean,
when we're looking,
could it be the new trading house?
It could.
This guy's like,
maybe.
So what do they call it? What do they call it? The MPACs of Equidon?
Compact of Equidon.
The alpacas of Equidon?
You got it.
Is he lighting that thing, or is he stealing the light? Is he like got one of those things from a deluminator?
Oh, like Harry Potter style. Yeah, I don't know. Or is he lighting it? Yeah. I guess
I was going to say he was lighting it, but now that you put it that way, I guess.
I see him. He's stealing it.
I think so.
I saw it as shadows, but you're right. Shadows is not here, so.
No,
he
does you mean logos?
Look,
sorry.
Yeah, logos
you
is not
said cyborg, right? And
I said cyborg originally. Now I'm thinking he might just be a robot.
Well, so the Grim Reaper.
Oh,
right? The
spot right on.
The anomaly.
Yeah,
looked a little bit like this. Like he was like both ghostly and mechanical. And this guy looks both ghostly and mechanical. Now that's like a fleshy hand, not a mechanical hand there. So, but the other arm, I'm going to assume that's an arm that's holding the lamp. I don't know, unless it's like attached to his back.
It's very interesting. I just looked up the Grim Reaper card.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're right. It looks very, very similar. Very robot-y. The eyes, they're sunken in, kind of the Jawa eyes, where there's no face, but they have the eyes.
Yep.
And I'm kind of going back and forth again, kind of the hooded figure.
No, the color scheme's completely different. Blue
the color
and
scheme's
red.
different for sure.
Colors are different, but the
blue, it is a blue and red
aesthetics.
versus the purple. But the aesthetics, right?
No.
You can't, and you don't see it.
No, I disagree.
Not at all.
I mean, it's not the same guy, but like,
no, I'm not saying it's the same
house.
person. And he's a robot specter.
Mm-hmm.
Because this guy,
I'll stand behind that. No.
Okay, right on.
Anyways, next card. It's kind of purple, so it's an Aquian. Can we go on to something interesting?
No.
What are you talking about, Sheep? This next card. Yeah. So he's an Aquan. He's floating around. Sybil Weimar. So Weimar.
Yeah, you
exactly.
say he. I think it could be.
Could be she.
Yeah, it could
I didn't check.
No.
But and what does he, she, they, I don't know, have in their hand? But it looks like the frogorific rod. And if you look at the text of the frigorific, whatever it is, rod, it has a quote. Is it cold in here or is it just you? Which is totally a badass B-movie line, right? By Sybil Weimar. So that's kind of cool to see that reference in that previous card, and then here
It's
he
the
or she
leader.
is. You think? I don't know if
No.
it looks
No.
leader.
No,
like.
it's definitely
I
not
don't
the
think
leader.
it's leader-like.
Not a shrimp. It's not the leader.
Yeah, I definitely do want the Aquaman leader to be a shrimp. I definitely want that.
I think that's going back all the way to September. This card was posted elsewhere with what it potentially does. The translation. So when your opponent's turn begins, discard the top card of his deck, exhaust all the characters in the same house with that card. That's what I think is exciting to be able to see.
I think it meant
That's
creatures,
cool.
but that is a pretty cool. I do
It's a
dig
translation.
that. Yeah,
Well,
I do dig the power, though.
So actually digging into that, the idea of characters versus creatures is a really interesting item because they're bringing in token.
That is true. They're bringing in tokens,
So that was where they were looking at is creatures and characters. Is it just referencing the tokens? Is it referencing both? And that may be a little change that we might see. I don't know. And it could just be a translation piece as well.
I think a new creature type character could be fun.
Could it include tokens and your creatures?
I guess it could. I mean,
maybe.
You could have beings that are higher than your random critters. Maybe they're a little more powerful, they have more staying power. Maybe a multiplayer format involving some sort of like commander type thing.
Oh, goodness. I hope that the idea of characters would incorporate tokens plus creatures. I want to keep it simple there so that we don't have to overthink it. I hope that it's not just referencing token.
Well, wouldn't a token creature still be a creature?
I don't know.
I would assume so. I guess we didn't make the rules, so who knows?
That's minutia. Yep.
Yeah.
I think the power is pretty good, right? Like, obviously, if you have overlap with your opponent in terms of houses, it's going to be, chance you're going to exhaust your stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But the more houses there are over time, the less chance you have that there's overlap. And
a little bit of interesting is that this is in the house that includes bubbles, so likely to see that come around, and then you get to choose what's on top of their deck.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Or the discard from hand one.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Brain
drain, yes, because somebody had a triple brain drain deck against me. Lokakar's evil twins are triple brain drain decks.
Oh, nice. You're going up against all the fun stuff, right? Triple brain drain, double chronophage. Yeah, it's the real deal.
And he's doing it all with AOA sealed.
Yeah.
What a champ. What a champ.
Mm-hmm.
Big baller over there. But that's kind of it for like news and new stuff coming out for Keyforge. It's nice to have some new stuff to kind of talk about. We can all agree to disagree on all the other fun stuff, which makes podcasting fun. But you guys got exchange format on here. What's this for?
Yeah, so this is actually the format for this week in ABR, right, or last week if you're listening when this releases. And I had never played this before, and I thought it was interesting. It generated lots of conversation in our team channel just about what is even the right way to approach.
I guess if we're going to be starting to talk about like relevant things, I should really like start releasing these not a week after. It's just been so long since we've had actual relevant news.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when you I normally what I would do is after we were done recording, I would edit it up, and then I'd post it. It'd be out Friday, right? Yeah. But if we're gonna go into like this week in ABR, I guess I should probably start releasing these.
It could just be that other week in ABR.
Plus, we're actually 2 weeks behind, right? Because we've got 2 in the can that haven't released. When I'm looking at the,
I'm gonna end up releasing 2 this week.
Okay.
Yeah, last week I'm gonna end up releasing like the episodes. It's gone in. One should be out one should be out now. And then the other one I'll do in a couple days. Just to kind of break it up a little bit.
Gotcha.
But, somebody Not naming names made editing one of them difficult. Not naming names. No names to be named here.
You're an idiot.
Wasn't cheap, was it? Or was it?
Well, he who shall not be named.
I see.
He who has bad mic problems these days. Another fucking Sir Morrows. God bless it.
Say the line.
I can't generate any space dollars for him to steal.
He can't even yell about his space dollars because he has none. All right. But anyways, back to exchange for ABR.
Yeah. So what is this thing, right? So how does this format work? So basically what you do is you bring 2 decks. And then you and your opponent, you're each going to look at each other's decks. Each of you are going to select one of your opponent's decks that you want to use. The other deck is going to stay with your opponent. So you're exchanging one of those 2 decks. So you're going to end up with a deck that's yours and a deck that is your opponent. And then you have to win with both decks in a best of 3. So the concept is that, hey, does this solve, I think is part of the thought, and I don't know if it does, but does this solve a little bit some of the adaptive situation where, hey, you're going to bring something and then you go to chains and who's better at chain bidding, right? Where this is like, can you bring decks that you feel comfortable beating each deck with each other, right? So if you bring deck A, deck B, you'll feel comfortable when you play deck A, you can beat deck B, and when you play deck B, you can beat deck A. That's the concept. And it's a interesting, tricky concept. I don't know. What did you guys think about this, Sheep Ewok?
After playing, I now feel even more like it's a race to the top.
Race to the top, meaning
if I would have brought my 2 best decks,
okay,
that I know really, really good, then I'm favored to win the match of my good deck versus my good deck, and then I'm heavily favored to destroy whatever else they brought.
Well, but you've already, so if that's the matchup though, you've already won with your good deck that you brought. So now you have to win with whatever they brought, right?
Why? I can start with their deck.
You have to win with both decks to win, right?
Yeah.
So
I start with their bad deck, and if they play my good deck, good riddance.
Oh, so you beat that.
And if they play their bad deck and I win, okay. Then we're at my worst case scenario, which is my good deck versus my good deck, which I'm slightly favored on. Okay. That's my opinion of how it goes down. Although in this case, I did bring the better decks, but not monstrously better, just quite a bit better. And then I got Untamed bursted and destroyed anyway.
So is this still the proverbial challenge of player skill versus deck skill? Is this what we're trying to solve with this format? Essentially,
I think maybe, right? Like it's trying to,
because I feel like we've all been trying to figure this out since the very beginning of player skill versus deck skill.
Yep.
And I mean, because I think we kind of all, I mean, I don't know. I've come to the conclusion that, deck does, 60-40 when it comes to that, where it's, 60% deck, 40% player. And the worse your deck is, the more that number goes the opposite way of what you want. I don't want to say it. I'm just gonna be quiet in the corner. I have things to say, but I don't want the verbal backlash of what me saying it brings. This is the first time I'll ever be quiet because I know what's gonna be said. I just know it.
Episode 57.
Episode 57.
Of Drascore.
She sucks at Keyforge.
Oh. So we thought about a whole bunch of different possibilities and strategy and all that. And we thought about a bunch of different things. We ended up on sort of two options, right? Hey, you should probably bring strong-ish decks, right? This doesn't get us to the point where you can bring junk and expect to do okay and force them to play junk and then you'll be okay, right? Like we didn't feel like that was going to happen. So you got to bring a decently good deck. But we also thought about like there's an interesting play to try to bring two very different SAS level decks where, let's say one is, I don't know, just make it up, 75 and 65 or something, right? And you feel good that you can beat the 75 with your 65. And so you think that 65 is like an outperformer. And then it gives them a little bit of a conundrum of, well, do they step into your trap or do they try to counter your trap and go from there? So that was another thought that we had. And we tested a few of those scenarios and they were okay. We were like, we wish we had more time to sort of figure out if this is truly a viable strategy or not. But I don't know. I guess so far we're not doing that great this week, so I don't know. Maybe we'd come out in the right spot.
I was gonna say I hate to tell you this, Drazcore. I think Sheep actually already solved it for you.
You solved it. Just bring the banger decks.
That's always the rule. I don't care what you're playing. Bring good. Good equals good equals good. And if your deck is favored to win, you will probably win. I don't
see how you get away from that in this one. Like, if you have significantly worse decks, you are at a significant disadvantage. And even I guess good 75s can, on occasion, beat good 90s. And there is that other part of ABR where you can't use the same decks multiple times in the league, and most people aren't stacked that deep in super strong stuff when you also have a triad, an adaptive, and an Archon week to support. So most people there aren't that many like monster decks to stack a team of. How many we got this year? This
10,
season?
10 per team.
10. So you're talking at least 40 really good decks. And that doesn't include this, which would make it 60 really good decks per team. That's a lot of really good decks to be asking for. I don't have 6 baller decks.
No,
me neither.
No.
I have
only X-Ray does.
Yes.
4. You're ahead of me. I don't think I have any baller decks. Maybe 1. Maybe.
I have stuff I like. I don't have anything where I'm like, this is the best. But I have stuff I enjoy playing and would bring to events.
Right. I get it. Yeah. I mean, I hate to tell you, I think Sheep just kind of solved it. It's like Vanilla Ice that way. If you got a problem, Sheep solves it. It's
just grumpy this week because I got beat and I decided what I should have done differently.
I say.
The old hindsight.
Because I did get beat. I got beat right before we casted.
I did bring decks that I thought were a little tricky to play, with the thought that I'm going to be able to pilot them better than my opponent. That was good decks that are a little tricky. That was my thought. We'll see what happens.
I still love this idea, like, that we all think, like, oh, this is a Trixie deck. Like, we're all Gollum sitting in the corner. This is a Trixie deck.
The one of the decks I was given, so my opponent, who is Avi, who won an Australian, she won the last Australian league, I think. So very good player, but brought like a 62 Coda and a 67 AOA, right? And in this format, you present decks to each other, and then you get some time to review them, and you pick which one of your opponent's decks. And I think it was like 30 seconds after she sent them to me, I said, ready, because I was presented with a Coda and an AOA. Like, there's any choice. You take the AOA deck.
Oh my god. I'm going home.
Well, that's
Going
just sheep
home.
being sheep.
Going home? Just can't. I just can't with sheep. Some days.
Apparently, I was wrong because I didn't win, and that stupid Coda deck did a Hunting Witch, Niffle Ape, Troop Call, replayed Niffle Ape, Niffle Queen, which was on the board. With a lot of amber.
That is a lot
and
of
I
amber.
couldn't draw into my amber control. Like, I drew into a hand of 6 cards, and not a single one of them had amber control on them. Although there were 5 out of the 15 cards left in deck had amber control, I couldn't get one to get me back into that game. It was still pretty close, but if I'd drawn a little bit better, I think I would have got it.
Draw better.
That's right, and I did not.
Yep. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know if my
report back next week, sir.
Yeah, my strategy worked out, or if I'm like I was a fool. We'll see.
You fool. Yeah, but let's move into final thoughts. We're coming up upon our hour. Drazcore, what do you got for the Thoughts de la Final?
Hey, just go out, play Keyforge, have fun, right? I'm looking forward to Vault Keeper this weekend, and just playing some Keyforge and having a good time. So, get at it.
Mr. Walk Jr.?
I second that. Hopefully I'll be able to see some of you talk during Vault Keeper this weekend. If you aren't there, please stay positive. We got Garfield's comments. We had some new art. So a lot of great news coming out. Even if it's not from FFG, we'll take it as a win. And I'm looking forward to the future.
Sheep.
Yes, I want a future of Keyforge 2.
Perfect. So you guys know where to follow us. You can find us all on Twitter at Archons Corner. If you want to help support us on Patreon, that's a thing you could do as well. $5 a month will get you ad-free episodes, as well as eventually Wookray. No, Wookcore. Something. I don't know. We're gonna be me and Drazcore will be doing some stuff here shortly. My
and by
you
that,
feel like
and
you
that
just got
means...
thrown out, Ewok?
No. Hey,
asked.
well,
do you want to? I
or
thought
there's specific requests like anything but sheep.
I have an idea.
I looked at your schedule and it said you were booked. I don't know if you're not booked. You can come on.
Sheep, you got to unblock Wookie.
You got to unblock me. Stop
I mean,
stop
it's
deleting
okay.
my messages.
If they're gonna go ahead and wear little wrestling shorts, we're okay just to watch from the sideline. Okay.
I'll be wearing wrestling.
ogle?
I'll be wearing wrestling pants. Yeah, I mean,
Like
you
the
guys are more
tearaways?
than welcome. I know you guys. It's summer. I know Ewok's busy. Summer is a busy time for everyone. But no, you're more than welcome to come on. I didn't know you were interested. I thought you hated
I have
me.
an idea that could involve everyone, but I got to work on it a little bit.
Well, if you don't need me, I'm fine. I can be thrown out. I'm just feeling insulted.
I'm not throwing the baby out with bathwater here. I mean, I didn't know you wanted to come on and talk about different topics.
You got to keep that bathwater. Bathwater's precious.
Get rid of the baby. Keep the bathwater.
I know a little bit about just about everything.
Nice. Well,
it seems, and then I got a strong dislike for many things. So
perfect.
It's always fun.
So we'll put those in the chat, and then for the things you have a strong dislike on, I guess you just don't have to. I mean, whatever. Whoever comes. Maybe that's probably what's going to happen. Is we're just going to set something up. Here's what we're going to go through this week, and whoever shows up shows up. That seems fair, right? Seems fair to me. Alrighty. But anyways, over on the Patreon, you can find us, Archons Corner, for Patreon, Facebook, and Twitter at Archons Corner. Guys, as always, it's been a pleasure. And we'll see everybody next week.
Happy fortune.
Next week.
Next week.